Hello, it's Daryl again. In this video, I've been trying to explore where you can drive and stay on a DC fast charger network if you're driving an electric car with a shorter range, such as a Nissan Leaf. You might want to do this because you might want to relocate the car from one city to another city, or take a journey around the country and make DC charges as you go. So if you say wanted to drive between Auckland and Taupo in a day, you want to make sure that there's enough DC fast chargers along the way that you would drive that you can just stop for 25 minutes here and there and recharge the car along the way and make your journey within a day. So that's the question that I've been trying to answer with this investigation of where are the DC fast chargers and how closely connected are they. I've made this very conservative with a 40-kilometre circle around each DC fast charger, which will give you an indication of being able to drive from one charger to the next for a total of 80 kilometres or so. So this will give a car with a 100-kilometre range a very good chance of being able to make it from one charger to the next. Later in the video, I've added some yellow circles, and they represent chargers that are currently under construction and should come online in the next month or two. In the North Island, you can drive State Highway 1 just about from north to south. Now I do have a little gap here where the desert road is, and that's because the Waiouru charger isn't online yet, but in reality there should be enough charge and a good quality battery in a Nissan Leaf to get across the gap in the desert road without too much trouble. I'm thinking about this because if I bought a car in Auckland, I'd need to drive it back from Auckland to Wellington, and I do travel around the country a bit, so I need to be able to travel north and south. Driving around Palmerston North is a bit interesting because State Highway 1 doesn't go through Palmerston North, although in a lot of cases people would need to drive through Palmerston North to recharge their car along the way. Another point in this area is that the road from Palmerston North to Waipukurau currently goes through the gorge, but the gorge is often closed during slips. So there's a slip at the moment, and I think it's closed now, which means that you have to drive over the hill roads. So this will give some people range difficulty if you're trying to make this drive from Palmerston North to, say, Napier or Hastings. If you're at Turangi or north of there at Taupo and are continuing to head north to Rotorua or Hamilton, there are plenty of charges along the way, so you won't have any problem with the run from the central North Island all the way up to north of Auckland and north of Whangarei. Some new stations that are being built right now are Tikoiti and 2 chargers at Waiouru and 2 chargers on the Taupo bypass road. So those double up chargers will allow people to recharge when they're making long trips, say north and south between Auckland and Wellington, which will be very good. There's a new charger being built in Coromandel Township, so I've added in yellow a 40-kilometre range around that charger as well to give people some idea of where they would be able to drive, and that kind of completes the charging network in this area. In the Wellington region there are several car chargers, so there's Otaki, Porirua, Upper Hutt, Lower Hutt, Petone, Vivian Street, and over in the Wairarapa, Masterton and Featherston, so you won't have any problems getting around the lower part of the North Island. In Auckland there are also several car chargers all around the Auckland suburbs, so you'll have no problems getting around the greater Auckland area either. Also around Hamilton there are many car chargers around Hamilton and Cambridge area, so you won't have any problems there too. At the top of the South Island there's a good cluster of chargers with Nelson, Richmond and Takaka, and that will allow you to drive around these nice areas at the top of the South Island in an electric car without any charging difficulties. Greymouth and Kaikoura both have a DC fast charger as well, so if you owned a Nissan Leaf in these areas you would be able to fast charge although you probably wouldn't have enough range to drive to anywhere out of town or very far out of town. There are some fast chargers in Christchurch and also Rakaia and Little River, so that gives you access to the Christchurch area. And then because the ground is quite flat, heading south, going down the coast, you'll be able to drive down the coastal towns and cities without any problem as well. You should be able to drive all the way down to Dunedin in a Nissan Leaf or another kind of lower range electric car without any problems. And then there's a bit of a gap between Dunedin and Invercargill, so that could be a bit tricky. There's a new charger being built in Alexandra, so I've added that in. And although it is a bit far away for people driving in a Nissan Leaf to get to other nearby cities and towns, it would allow people who have a longer range electric car, such as the BMW with a range extender or a Tesla, to make it all the way from, say, Christchurch to Queenstown, which would be good for the ski season this year. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It's real awesome when I get comments. I can reply and help answer any questions. If somebody has some sort of technical question that they might want a bit more information in, I might be able to find the answer for them. So thanks again for watching. Click on subscribe. Cheers.